Hello, friends. You're welcome to the Wise Builders and My Godly Spouse online weekly platform. My name is Reverend Dolapo Agoradeni. I'm a pastor, I'm a lawyer, and I'm a relationship coach. Is there anything bothering you? Life comes with some challenges sometimes. If you want to rub minds or you want confidential advice, are you single? Do you want to marry? Do you want me to vet your relationship for you? Don't fall a victim. You know, where children of God are, the children of the other side are as well. So, if you know you want to do things right, or you've made a mistake and you want counseling, sometimes quitting is not the best way forward. You need to fight it out in a very godly way. You need a godly counsel. So speak to me after the show. My numbers are on the platform and how you contact me. Thank you very much. Looking forward to see you. Sit back, enjoy this show. It comes weekly on Wednesdays, and I trust you will not regret your time. God bless you all. Thank you. Hello. Good evening and happy to see you tonight. God bless you. Good evening. You're welcome to the Wise Builders. And my name is Reverend Dolapo Agoro Adeni, otherwise called Reverend Dolly or Dolly. Good to see you. It's nice to see you. Good evening, everyone. I'm just waiting for Instagram family to come on. Good evening, Instagram family. Happy to see everyone. It's so awesome and wonderful. And I hope you're all in the buzz of the Christmas. I can feel it in the air. And I know the climate or the atmosphere is not very, very inviting or looking that palatable. But by the grace of God, we have to be thankful for life. So we are thankful for life and we are grateful for our little wings. And then we're going to give it the best that we can. God bless us and God willing and keeping us. So thank you. Good to see you tonight. This is the Wise Builders. In case you're joining us for the first time, or this is the first time you're watching this program, I do present family issues, relationship issues every Wednesdays, 8:30 p.m. UK time. So tonight we are talking about second marriage or second marriages and pitfalls to avoid. Second marriages and pitfalls to avoid. Second marriages. Peradventure, you are in your first marriage. It will be very helpful for you as well. But tonight is specifically for a lot of people going into second marriages. We have to. Good evening, ma. Good evening. Bless you, ma. Bless you, everyone online. God bless you. God bless you. Happy to see you. So we are going to talk about second marriage tonight. You know, sometimes I sit back and I don't mean to be rude or I don't mean to discourage you, but peradventure you are in such you're of such opinion or same stance as I am, and you're just thinking sometimes when you hear things happen in second marriages and you're like, is it worth it after all? Especially bless you, ma. Barista Imana, bless you, my darling auntie. God bless you, ma. She's saying hello to us on Instagram. It's just a shame that Instagram we can't flag it up. We hope all our stuff that we are using will be able to project live too, as we're doing on Facebook and YouTube together and do Instagram, but they do StreamYards, don't do Instagram. Thank you, ma. So you know, sometimes you want to think tonight we are talking about second marriage and pitfalls to avoid. You know, sometimes you think about this whole issue and you think, is it worth it after all? I know it might sound rude to some people or selfish, and they will think, what's she talking about? Especially when you're maybe markets. I always call it marketplace ministry, as in when you're outside the church and you meet people and you counsel and people tell you things, then you experience things personally or from friends' stories and issues going around. You wonder, and most times my heart kind of bleeds. And I think, or rather I'm thinking, God, is it worth it? So many people are putting so much. I was told of a woman recently that was so duped just because she was duped of a lot of money. And it's not the first time I'm hearing that. It's happened so a lot of vulnerable women, because they want to marry, they don't want to sleep around, they are Christian and they think, okay, it's gone wrong the first time. Sometimes it's not these women that fault, sometimes it's the men, but however we say, what I always say when it comes to relationship is, it takes two to tango. So if it goes bad, none of you can say, oh, I was maybe the good one, the goody two shoe, and my hands. No matter what, you'll be a contributory factor to one thing or the other. Maybe you just snubbing him at one point and snubbing her. But what we're trying to say is, once the marriage has broken down irretrievably and both of you are out of the marriage, there's so much emotions that has gone into it. There's so much pain. There's so much. And then innocent women, and not only women alone. I'm not a feminist. Not only women alone, men as well. Some of them are vulnerable, and they've fallen into the hands of dubious women or desperate women. So you thinking about all these things, after all, you are like, is it really worth it? So tonight we're going to talk about the pitfalls. For some of us that thinks, oh, it's worth it. I'll just crack a quick one before I go into the topic. A man of God called me this week, maybe 2-3 days ago, and said, Dolly, I said, sir, he said, can I find out from you? It's somebody I referred so much. And he said, can I find out something from you? What's the difference between companionship and marriage? And I started laughing. I said, Dolly, most people call me Dolly. And he was like, Dolly, what's funny? I said, sir, you want me to give it to you the way it is? You know me, I keep it real. I said, the difference between marriage and companionship is legalized sex. He started laughing. I said, yeah, it's legalized. Somebody doesn't want the commitment. Marriage is commitment, lifetime commitment. The two of you are binded together for life. And then till then do you part. No running out of it except divorce, which we know that it's only extreme cases. But companionship is just like, I don't want to be alone, but I want to have a licensed sex partner. At least I know that if me and you, we are there, to just have it where we want to. The man started laughing. I said, Pastor, that is just it. I won't say more. And he started laughing. So tonight, let's talk about it. For some of us, especially ministers of God, you are not allowed companionship because of the ministry. So a lot of women that I know, I have a lot of pastors, I have a lot of professionals, not only pastors. It doesn't take pastors to have morals. It doesn't take pastors to be born again. Most women that I know, even some men, they are dignified. They not, I don't want to use the word right. Nobody's righteous, But what we're trying to say, they want to do things right. But at the same time, with everything going on, you want to think, is it worth it at all? So I'm reading this live scenario that we have tonight. And please, as you're listening to me, I want you to dissect it very well. Think about it, and please give us your comments as we're going to project the comments, or I'm going to read it out. Thank you. So these two guys, these two couple, let's forget about the word guys. This couple, they were previously divorced and wanted a second marriage. So the man on his own side was divorced, the woman was divorced. So the man insisted on a child between them. A newborn baby was adopted with huge celebration. They got married and moved in together, to be separated and seeking divorce 2 years after. The man does not want the child's custody. The lady is a professional that hardly has time for the child. Both parents are in their early 50s. She is regretting the whole process, especially being saddled with childcare. Is it worth the while after all? I'm going to read it again for us to digest it. They were previously divorced and wanted second marriage. So the man and the woman were coming from previous marriages, and after a while, they're tired of staying. They wanted to get it right this time around. So they courted for a bit of period, and then the man wanted, we know African men, even not only African men, they always want a child. So the man insisted that something must bind them together, and he wanted a child and stuff like that. So fortunately for them, they live in a part of the country that adoption is easy. Fortunately for them, they got less than a week old baby, fresh from the blood. They were able to adopt, and they celebrated um naming ceremony. The way we the way we are in other parts of the world, like Africa, and they celebrated it huge celebration, welcoming the baby into the family. So their friends and family, everybody came to welcome the baby as if it was theirs. Okay, so actually after adoption, the child is yours. In all fairness, is yours. It doesn't take you having the child from your, when you nurse a child, you take care of a child, you raise a child on your lap, and you're responsible for the child. You become a parent. It's not that you donated the sperm or you carry the baby in the womb. Okay, look at the mother that dumped the baby. That's not a mother. That's not a mother. It's the woman that's taking care of the child. That's the mother. So they got married and moved in together. So they married and they become a couple with that child in between them. They got married, moved in together to be separated and seeking divorce. It's less than 2 years. I found that less than 2 years after, in fact, 6 months down into the marriage, issues started happening so much. Now they're out of the marriage. Now they're seeking divorce. Now, so the man does not want the child's custody. He's too busy. And we know how's a man? I don't know. I don't want to say. I know some men are good with things like that, but I don't think a man is able to properly take care of a 2-year-old. It's women's job. Some men are good at it, but the man says he doesn't want the custody of the child. The woman is a professional. She is a professional, big time professional. Now she's saddled with taking care of this child. They are both in their 50s. So that's why the woman couldn't have her own child. She just said, I'm too old for it. Okay, to satisfy you. Okay, I want a child too. Let's go for it. But it was the man's pressure because the woman had 2 children before that, grown up. So both of them are in their 50s. She's regretting the whole process now, especially being saddled, as in she has to take care, when you have custody of a child. The responsibility of that child, maintenance, everything is with the woman. So she's now thinking, is it worth the while? And when I had it as well, I thought, I sat back and I thought, to be honest with you, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Second marriages, people are asking me, a lot of people wants to go for companionship nowadays. And in all fairness, as much as I stand against it, I'm beginning to see reasons, because we're in the world, we are not of the world, but at least we've not borrowed, or our brain is still working. Let's be very factual and realistic about these things. I wouldn't subscribe to it because of my faith and because of my stand in Christ. If I'm married, I'm married. If I'm not married, I'm not married. But some people, it works so well for them. So what is it worth it? So is there a need for a second marriage? I think we should start from there. Let's discuss. So if you have anything to say about this situation or for this couple, it looks straightforward, but it's not straightforward. To them, there isn't much that they can learn from this again. But peradventure, there's so much they can learn even as they're going into a third marriage. You find out that people, we have a way of making similar mistakes, human beings. We have a way of making similar mistakes. You just think this is the end. This woman or the man will fall in love with another person again. Same history will repeat itself. So, to be honest, I was actually thinking the show is not for them. It's for other people to learn from it. But in actual fact, they may take a cue from it, to be honest with you. So is there a need for second marriage? I know I've treated, that's why I kind of named this part 2. I've treated second marriage PALAVA before. I've done that before, but loneliness, we're talking about loneliness. The Bible says that it's not good for a man to be lonely. When it talks about that, a man or a woman, and that's why God created a woman. So loneliness, it's not good. And that is why most women or men in their mid-age or in their early 50s or divorcees or widows or widowers are seeking to marry. But should we now use this? Because it looks like I hear stories so much. There's a lot. A man was speaking to me over the phone and he was saying things from Lagos, and he said, "Oh, I'm not one of those people you mentioned in your program as gigolos." I started laughing. I said, "Please don't give me name. Let me just keep it real." I say it. So if you it looks like you identify yourself with it, then go and change. Go and change. And I said, sir, I didn't mention your case. He just said, I'm just letting you know before you think I'm one of those gigolos. I started laughing. So, as we're saying, loneliness, we were born. The way God created man is for us to be with somebody. But once you have been with somebody and the thing did not work, you know, what if let me just sound this kind of caveat or warning. If you decide not to remarry, don't let anybody put you, excuse me, beg your pardon. Don't let anybody put you under pressure. I've experienced that so much. You see, if something happens, you're divorced, you have a lot of wounds to not, you have to heal properly. You know, some people heal so much within a month. No, I don't think anybody can heal within a month. 6 months, 1 year, the way we adapt to changes differs our body. But what I'm trying to say, make sure is the right thing. Sometimes we're unable to really identify because we're going to talk about these things. But if you know that you can't keep yourself alone, go for it, but don't because of pressure. Societal pressure, family pressure, brethren pressure. They know how many pastors, how many friends and families are always checking what is happening this year, what is happening this month. You know, they want you to marry, but if it doesn't work, they're the ones that's going to say to you, how come it didn't work again? So sometimes it's good for us to take our time. So loneliness, we're born, the first issues, we're born, you know, to be with somebody. And the way a human being, the way we are wired is we need relationship. Life is about relationship. So compatibility is one thing that's why people wanted it. So a lot of people are not in it yet. This week, about 3 women spoke to me, and I poured my heart to them to say to them that these things is needful, because once you're in your let's say in your 50s, excuse me, going to 60s, you find out that the children will leave the house. A woman spoke to me. Thank you, sir. A woman spoke to me. Bless you, sir. He said, Mr. Bayo Famino said, you're very correct, man. Thank you, sir. A woman said to me recently, the children are grown. They're out of the house. I'm lonely. She's in a 3-bedroom and she just suddenly feels vulnerable. Then these men are very clever around those kind of women. They take unnecessary advantage. They take advantage. In fact, we're in a world where, excuse me, men think they are doing you a favor coming into a relationship with you. I don't know what has gone into their head, and I don't know why, but I think somebody has gotten something wrong somewhere. Where women that want to marry, it's not that they are desperate, it's just that they want to keep a home. They don't want to sleep around. So, you know, then the issue of compatibility, there's a lot of things that you have to look. Are we compatible? Do you have same likes? Do you have same ambition, face, you know, compatibility, a lot of things. The Bible talks that two cannot work together, two cannot work together except they agree. You have to be sure that, okay, don't just rush into it. You know, that's one of the reasons that people wants to marry. People will just say, okay, I'll just do it, but you have to understand that this is the person you're going to live with for the rest of your life. So I'm speeding because we still have to really talk about this story very well, but I always like to give a background, a kind of overview of things before we just plunge and start advising them. So some reasons why some women want to remarry, or men, is procreation. And there's this thing about Africa, like I said earlier on, that people think without a child, a marriage cannot work. I've seen marriages, I'm not being funny, that are working without children. And one of the good thing I say to people when they talk to me about the need for a child in a marriage, I said, okay, but you were married before. You had 2 children, especially in this situation. You had 2 children before. Those 2 children, a boy and girl, could not hold your marriage. Children do not hold marriage. Let me sound this clearly to us. Children are a blessing from the Lord. The Bible is talking about, I think that's Psalm 127. I think so. If I think I should be 70%, 80% sure that children are the heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb, and the reward is from the Lord. It's the Lord that gives it. So if the children comes, fair enough. But what I say to couple that divorces and they are going to second marriages and they're talking so much about children. And I said to them, there was a particular man in his late 50s and he wanted a woman. And he said, it's 58. I had an encounter with him last year and he was like, I should help him to look for a woman. And I saw it and he was specifically asking about a woman from a particular tribe. So I said to him, I found somebody, but the woman could not have a child. The man insisted, no, I want a child. I said, look at your age. You're 58. By the time you father that child, you'll be 68 when the child is 10. A pensioner already. So you cannot even afford to take care of that child without you having some kind of savings. We don't think about these things. We don't think about health failures. We don't think about issues of life. How can you at 58 still insist that you have 4 already? This man, no. I think he said he has 4 or 5. I can't remember, but more than 3. The man told me. And I said to him, and he was insisting. He lost that woman because he said he just wanted a woman that will have a child for him. I said, okay, then a child, and then from a specific tribe in Nigeria. And I'm like, this man, you're a joker. So people want second marriages. I agree totally with somebody that's not had children before. Listen to me, please. There's nothing wrong. We're just talking about this example. There's nothing wrong in you remarrying and asking, and both of you are agreeing to have a child. No, even if you're in your 50s, if it suits you, if you know, health-wise, I'm just talking about the risk factors. And then we will have to talk about what if, because in their own case now, they did not think about that. What if it didn't work out? We all go into marriages, we all pray that it works out, that everything goes well, but there's always that what if. And I pray that the Lord will help you as you're navigating your own story, or you want to take or plunge into that aspect of life in Jesus' name. Because there's always what if. And that's one of the what if that made them to be divorced in the first instance. I'm sure there's nobody that divorces that knows that they're going to divorce. They just find that things along the way could just not work and everybody has to go. So sometimes we have to think deeply about these issues. So procreation is important. Well, the child does not glue you to any woman, or a child does not glue you to any man. When it's time to move, if a woman wants to move or a man wants to move, they'll call it quit and they will move. And one of the 4th point I said is to avoid promiscuity. As a believer, for example, if you want sex, then you have to marry. So I always call it legalized sex. So second marriages is just you're getting lonely. Well, and when we're talking of loneliness, we're talking of companionship. We're not talking about loneliness because you want sex every night. No, you need somebody to talk to. You're going home, you call somebody, you say, well, you don't want to walk the walk of life alone by yourself. You just need somebody by your side. Thank you. So you need somebody by your side and somebody to walk the walk of life with. So to avoid promiscuity is good, because I don't want to sit here and sound the symbol that second marriage is not good. It is very good. I have said it several times. Loneliness is not good. So the way out of loneliness is get yourself married. You need it. We all need it. But is it worth it at all? And then how to know it is what it is, you have to list all these things. Then you have to navigate through them. Make sure you discuss everything. Ensure that you're not putting your life at risk. You're not putting your future at risk for that woman or for that man. So you're not losing your life because you want to please somebody. Bless you, ma. Bless you, ma. God bless you, Mommy Adejoke. Bless you, ma. So you want to go into second marriage because you want to feel loved. It's good. Second marriage is good because you feel loved. We all miss it, especially if you've been single for a while. You want somebody to say, hello, darling, hello, honey, hello, sugar, hello, babe, hello, thing, send you love, I love you. It gladdens our heart. It's good. It's good to feel appreciated, to do a new hair or to wear a jewelry or a piece of cloth, and you just say, and somebody say, you look sweet, you look nice, I love you, Valentine's Day, all those things, your birthday, the children are gone, and nowadays they are calling from America, mommy, happy birthday, God bless you, love you. 5 minutes, they are gone. But when you have your own partner or your own spouse, you are able to express love and it makes you feel younger, and then the last one is you have someone to share the load with. Two is better than one because there's double reward for our work. So it's good. But what we are saying, because I'm not one of those that will tell you that second marriage is not good. Marriages is good. Whether second, in fact, people are going into third marriages now, which is very, very funny. And I always say, what did you miss in the second one? What did you miss in the first one that you looked for in the second one? That won't be anybody's portion that's listening to me that is intending second marriage in Jesus' name. Your second marriage must work, otherwise don't go into it. If it will not work, don't go into it for anything. So what did you lose in? I had somebody that said until the fourth one before she got it right. I said, that one is that one is very, very wonderful. So what are the disadvantages? Let's go straight to the disadvantages of second marriages, because we know the advantages of marriages anyhow, any day. It's all the things I've told you about. But when it comes to second marriages, we have to take a pause. Remember, by the time you're going to second marriages, especially those that maybe like widow or widower or divorce in your like 50s or late 40s, you've acquired so much baggages, you've experienced life. When we're still young, when we want to go into the first marriage, we're so naive. You're going into a first marriage without any baggage. You're just coming from your parents' house as a graduate or just employee. You just want to build a home. You want to set your future with somebody. So both of you start working hard. But 10 years down the line, you've acquired so much: children, property, investment, career. You have a lot of things you're carrying on that you build that's become you. So these are one of the things that we have to talk about and guide so much, before otherwise those are the things that breaks the marriages. So I will please want you to be very attentive as we talk about this. So disadvantages. The first one is, let me just say something to you. 50% of first marriages, I'm just giving us statistics, end in divorce. 65, go and do your research. I did my research. 65% of second marriages end in divorce. Can you see it's getting higher? Because people are now less tolerant. They don't have time. They are mature and they know what they want. They are very realistic, bold now. They've learned their lessons. So they see it coming. I'm like, no, I experienced this the first time. I'm not going for this. Most time when we marry the first time, we're naive. For some of us women, it takes years before you can even open your mouth and talk back. Not in a rude way, as in stand up for yourself. It takes time. And some men too, they have so much dignity. They just think, oh, this is my wife. They treat them, even all the shenanigans or the irrelevancies that the wife does and everything, they kind of wave it and it's my wife. I can't be bothered, she's the mother of my children, until it gets out of hand and the man is like, I can't take this again. So 65% of second marriages end in divorce. Now 75%. So can you see it's getting higher? 75% of third marriages end in divorce. So nobody is immune to divorce. Don't think because you marry a second time you're going to get it right, except you do your own work right. And we are more mature this time around. We are more enlightened. You have to sit back. Sometimes we don't allow emotions to rule us. It does happen to most of us that falls in love. We fall in love easily and we're just like, this is the guy. Oh, this is the babe. And sometimes I just said to somebody recently, I said, to be honest with you, I realized there's no point in rushing anything in life, even marriages. I'm such that I thought I'm of the opinion with my call and everything that, okay, once you prayed and God has spoken to you and this, just wrap whatever you want to do and go. But no, I just think we need time. You need time to really understand yourself. Am I in for this? We need time to kill our emotions and be now realistic that, okay, is this the real thing? Do I really want this? Can I live with this person for the rest of my life? Can I condone all his exuberances or our exuberances? You have to really think, what's in it for me? Do I feel this strong about it? So all those things are things that along the line, conflict resolution, when we fight, how do we resolve it? Is it such that we're backing at you? Some women can back and scream and throw tantrums and fling things. Is it anger? Can I deal with this? Can I deal with him? There's so much that we have to think about. So it's time to give us time. So one thing that I find out as well, like I said, we are less tolerant in second marriages, especially, I don't mean to be rude, especially people that have been divorced. You see, most of them, the percentage shows that there's no big deal. They're less tolerant. If I've done it before, I can do it again. And that's a bad attitude, actually, that will take into the marriage. What's the big deal? So what's the big deal? If I've gone through it the first time, I can go through it the second time. So they are no longer scared of it again. So you can't threaten me. First marriages, how long it takes before you make up your mind. You talk to your pastor, you pray, you go on the mountain, you talk to counselor, the stigma, you don't want to be called a divorcee, or you don't want to be divorced, and you're struggling and working hard, even at your pain. Can you see people that are suffering from domestic violence? They are battering them every day, but they wouldn't talk just because of the fact that they're scared of going through it. But once the deed had been done for the first time, people are like, can't be bothered. So second marriages, please, I've said it, there are too many baggages to deal with. Some of these baggages I'll talk about. I'll kind of gloss through them today because of time. See, two baggages to talk to. Children are baggage. Or they have so much baggage or baggages that if you don't deal with them. I heard of a case that a girl or so, a child stabbed the man, and then there was this one that a friend of mine told me about this woman that she's been divorced and she's got two sometimes when I think about that thing, the story, and he has two boys. And then, to cut a long story short, I'll give you the story. To cut a long story short, their father and their mom are separated, and the father has a job that takes him, all over UK. This happened in UK, all over UK. So the woman stays in another part of UK, within London, but not too far, maybe like an hour or 2 hours drive. So the boys will go to their father over the weekend, and the father has a job, like I said, goes about. So this woman had been trying so much to compliment of the season to you, sir. Mr. Osinon, God bless you, sir. So this woman had tried severally, and these boys were frustrating her. So this time around, like I said, she would drop the children over at their father's, and maybe on Friday, and they will come back home on Sunday. Unfortunately, she's dropped them off. They were supposed to come back on Sunday, so she's had a date with her man friend, and they wanted to have a nice time in her home. So she thought the boys were gone for the weekend to come on Sunday. Unfortunately, their father had a job. They had to go, and let's assume he's a photographer. So he had a call and he had to go. So, and where he was going for that function was not too far from where the mother of those boys live. So he just said, boys, I don't want to do this trip tomorrow and then do it again today and tomorrow again. I'll drop you over at your mom's on our way. So that's how the boys came home unannounced. Daddy, I used to call them daddy, when you have a man friend, daddy and mommy. So daddy had already come, that boyfriend or man friend, had already come to see their mom at home. So they thought the boys were gone. So the man had relaxed, typical African man. He's already removed his babariga, agbada, that's overcoats that we have traditional wear. Put it in somewhere in the sitting room. I wonder how careless you could be as well. You're not in your home. His agbada, his playing of the sitting room, his shoes were somewhere, and then they went to the room to do their thing. Unfortunately, these boys came in. Immediately they saw that man's agbada, they were like, this man again, and then they took that agbada, they soaked it, they went to put it in the washing machine, and then they started the washing machine to do his laundry, and then his shoes they confiscated, they kind of kept it somewhere. So the woman realized the boys were home, maybe from the sound of the door, whatever. So They came downstairs, there's nothing you can do. Then she came to face them. Then daddy wanted to leave, was looking for his agbada. Where's my agbada? He couldn't find his agbada. And then the annoying thing was like he still has this inner thing. He was not looking for his shoes. And then he couldn't find his shoes again. The boys were just looking like this. Now, I pray I don't have such kind of children. There are some children that can frustrate and kill your enemy. And they were like looking like this. Boys' children are very jealous of their parents. So you have to tread with care. When you have boys' children, they are very, very jealous because they are very protective of their mother. And they're looking at you and like, is it worth it? Is it going to take care of our mom? So, and they were looking at the mom. And unfortunately, before they came inside, they already deflated the man's tires. And I think they went overboard. So the man was angry before he left there. So I was told this story. So the man, when he got outside, I was told that he started saying bad things, abusing those children. And Africans, when they're abusing and saying things badly to them and stuff like that, to the extent that the mom actually got angry, and it caused an issue between them that listen, no matter what, I know they are children, but you cannot be raining curses or abuses on my children. I'm not going to have it. And then the man, they got removal to remove him and everything. So where's the cloth? The children said, oh, we were helping him to do laundry. That we realized his agbada was dirty. So we put it in the washing machine. About his shoes. The woman felt bad, but at least the children got remorseful. But the moral of the story is just that, as funny as it is, boys, I'm sure nowadays they are grown up and they will have realized it. But can you imagine how many potential spouses or partners they've driven from their mother? So talking about baggages, we have to be careful around issues about children of the marriage or previous relationship, and most times I think women are in the middle of this, because usually men, they don't end up with custody. It's only few men that end up with custody. The percentage is very low. Usually it's a woman that ends up with custody that has to take care of his children or of her children. And when you want to remarry, then these children becomes an issue. Is that they don't accept your partner. So I always say that these are issues to be very, very careful. The woman should be sensitive. You must talk about it with your tell him or her, or even the man. Some men has custody. Tell them the nature of the children you have. This one is sensitive. This one cares. This one doesn't care. The woman will warm herself into the lives of those children, or the man. It's doable thing. I found out that these our children, they like to be respected, or just little respect, and they feel, oh, he respects me. And then you find out that the mountain that you think will be leveled. So these are baggages. Then so one of the things that we have to look into is discuss so much. Children have caused divorce. Children have caused divorce. Now, choice of, if I want to just mention that the next one is choice of wrong partner. I kind of mentioned that earlier on. Who is the right partner? There's no right person for anybody, but there's somebody that's compatible with you. There are some things that you can overlook in a marriage, but there are some things that can't be overlooked, like adultery, like taking you for granted, like not treating you with respect. All those things are going to end up in your second marriage. Like an abusive partner, if he's abusing you or talking down on you, or is somebody that is not supportive, or is criticizing you, is not allowing you, either way. So choice of wrong partner, and one thing you have to look out for as well is if a partner is coming from an abusive relationship. I'm very wary of them. They nurse a lot of pain. They nurse they need therapy, either talking therapy or psychotherapy. When somebody is a victim of abuse, either sexual abuse or domestic abuse, either way, it doesn't have to be a woman. They are sensitive to deal with. So the choice of partner, as you want to go, you have to. And then another thing is, some of us, we try to look for, we are attracted to the kind of people. I found out that people from abusive relationship are attracted to abuser as well, because we're attracted to this kind of man or this kind of woman. Some men likes women that talks down on them and shout at them. They like control freaks. Some people don't like it. Some women likes a man that's bad boys that will talk down on them. Some women can't take it. So all those kind of things, you find out that if you are with a wrong choice of partner, let's not be desperate. no matter what, there's somebody out. If you want to, if it is yours to have a second marriage, there's somebody, So these are things that makes, when we quickly run into another wrong partner, we just think, okay, he's all right, he's got a job, he has children, is this, or she's good, she's a graduate, she's this. Before you know it, and then I find out that at this later age, some of us do not get our priorities very, very right. I don't mean to be rude. I sit down and I say, what do I want? And I feel anybody in their middle age, 40s, 50s, should sit back. Because my dad used to say this thing when I was younger. You see, that they say it in our native language that you don't get young forever. There's some things that we want to do. Some people are in their 40s and they still want to live as if they're still in their 30s or 20s. You have to act your age. If you're married now and you're divorced, you have to start living responsibly. I know some of us will enjoy our singleness now that we are throwing caution to the wind, but it's going to catch up with us as we go on in life. So you have to build a life that you want to live. Nothing happens. Marriages are worked on, they are built on. We have to work and labor on a relationship. You cannot pray and fast a relationship. You can pray and fast God to send you your partner. He will send you, but maintaining that partner is hard work. You have to die to yourself. You have to be humble. You have to be patient. You have to go to that person's level, but then you must not lose yourself in the course of that. So if I go on to the next point, the third point is most marriages, second marriages break down because, remember, we spoke about issue of child. This same issue, as good as it is what some people, the marriages doesn't hold because there's nothing that's gluing them together. There's no property. Bless you, ma. God bless you, ma. Thank you, Mommy Biloy. Bless you, ma. So there's no property in between. If you marry and then there's no child, make sure there's an investment or property, something, a sense of responsibility. You're not tying anybody down, but it just shows your commitment. The reason why men, usually African men, I'll say, the reason why they always ask for children is they want something to hold, a tie, to know that, okay, she's just not in need for the fun of it, a commitment to the marriage. I feel our words is our commitment, and our commitment is our union and our love. But some people don't still see that as commitment. Some people want, so when there's no glue, I always call it glue, when there's no glue binding you together, no children, then some men just think, they wake up one day and say, maybe some other woman can just have a child for them, and just, you see, the way people, and I always say that these children, you can't use children as a weapon. It's so deep. And I think it's lack of ignorance and lack of knowledge on our part to say, okay, I just need a child. And if we look at the story that we're talking, so lack of acceptability, another issue that doesn't make second marriages work out is each family. Like my family, for example, the woman's family may have a kind of man they want. They may not totally accept you. Remember, they've seen, so the man may be bringing somebody and the family will be comparing her with the previous one. And the woman's family too will be like, we don't like this one, because they're used to somebody. So lack of acceptability from both family always causes, unlike the first marriage, everybody is happy, but you're used to that person. For example, maybe the person you were married to before was very rich and okay, will take them out. Maybe it's somebody that every Friday will take them out. It's a family. Maybe the new person you're going out with now, or you want to marry, is a very reserved person. You'll start saying to you, this one is even not good. We don't know where you are. Maybe this one is not educated. So there's so much that goes on that, are one of the disadvantages. So lack of acceptability from the children, from family, friend, and then history. People want to know their history. Hey, what happened? And we can quickly make decisions. Hey, so this your woman that you want to marry, what happened to her previous one? She divorced her husband. What happened? What did she do? So people already formed opinion. So the guy's family are skeptical. They are looking at you with that one kind and say, This one can control you. Look, this one is rich. This one is educated. Maybe you should go to the village and look for somebody. Then the man there say, are you sure this one will be able to take care of you? Are you sure this one is not a womanizer? Are you sure this one? So it's easy for us that people have already made opinions, and because of that, they don't accept them. And then we have issues. We want to, and when it comes to this, I'll say we should just be mature. First marriages, most of us makes mistake. Everything that happens to us, we run to our family to talk to them about it. I would say at this stage, pick and choose what you want to say. Please, pick and choose. Don't throw in completely open, because not that you're hiding anything. Material facts, things like his children, what happened to his marriage before, blah, 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 those should be said. But things that could boost his ego a little bit, maybe he's out of, not that he's out of work, maybe, things that your family. They say, this one is a gold digger, especially for people that bring in spouses from Nigeria. Package them very well, because lack of acceptability is what normally, and I'm trying that on a family now. They're almost separating because the guy thought his past was used on him, against him rather, in this current marriage. Since they're married for like a year now, it's been tug of war. So let's be very careful as I move on. Children from previous marriage. The children, I said it earlier on, they are sensitive, and I won't say it enough on children. You don't necessarily need to take your children to your spouse's home. A lot of us are making a mistake. We drag our children and they become an issue. A woman spoke to me, and we're talking this week, and we're talking about the need. She still has teenagers, and I said, you can't. So we're talking about matchmaking, and if you found somebody, okay. And I was asking the question, what if you found somebody and that person is in this other part of the country? Same within UK, but maybe somebody is in Southeast and you are in Northwest or somehow, and how are you going to do it? And she was like, I cannot move, which is true. And this is a big issue nowadays. And I'm sounding this, please, for our African men, let's be reasonable. Time has changed. You don't even have a house or capacity to take those children on board. Let's assume you have this woman you have 2 children, and this one has 2 children. You need like 4-bedroom house. So, and your children, for example, if I have children now and my children are grown up, I can marry and relocate and come and meet you. But if I have children that are still in secondary school, you can't expect the children will not, especially once they are past 12, 14, they will not settle in the new home. So all these things are things you need to talk together. Don't drag. I know a sister that said, my daughter doesn't have a choice. It's whatever I dictate for. I said to her, you don't know what you're doing. Especially, you don't know what you're doing. Even if that is going to be the decision, you have to talk them through it. It's a gradual process. Sit the children down, talk to them. Mommy is about to marry now. Let me tell you something. There's nothing new. These children knows. They are not dumb. Bless you, man. They are not dumb. They know what is up. Sit them down. Mommy is seeing somebody. This is the person of the person, and this is the name of the person. Show them, run his profile by them. They will ask you, so what's going to happen to us? Ask them back, what do you want to happen? Don't immediately say to them, what do you mean what's going to happen to you? We African mothers, what do you want to know is you're going with me. No. Let them. One child said to the mother, I don't have any problem with you getting married, but let me get out of the house. Let me go to uni. You're free to do whatever you want to do. Some saying, Mom, if he's coming to stay with us, I don't mind, but we go in there, which could be selfish as well. Because sometimes it's not easy for a man to come and join you. He has his ego, he has his plans, he has his family. But nowadays, it's easier because the man does not have custody of children. I feel whoever has custody of children is the one that's on ground. The other one has to move. We've discussed that on this platform before, but people don't want to understand. There's that, no, a Nigerian man must not move. No. Time has gone past all those things. I'm not just speaking. I'm not talking modernization. I'm talking about reality now. You have to understand the fact that some parents have special needs children. They have children that are going to some schools and everything work. So all those things you can look into. Don't be if you can't move. There was a woman that said, if you cannot move and come and join, we are not. No. You see, sometimes it could be a transitional period of about 5 years. Some could be 3 years. These are things that does not make marriage to work out outrightly. Remember, you are full of baggages. If baggage is work, your baggage is your work, your career, your business, your everything. You don't expect him to just dump everything and say, I'm moving with you. And I don't expect you to say, throw your children away. Some women have gone to put their children in boarding school because of a man. It's not worth it. If you have your plan, it happened to a friend of mine and they regretted it till today. As in marriage, he had two sons living with him. Immediately he brought his woman. After the wedding, they relocated the children to Africa. The mom kind of held on to the children, didn't allow them to send them back. The children didn't go home. Social worker, he got mad. It got really bad. So today the home is divided. So when it comes to issue of children, I find out that it's one of the easiest issue. It's just the wisdom to go by it. These boys are sensitive. These girls are sensitive. Sit them down. Treat them like they're your friends. Say to them, I'm speaking to this person. Do you want me to speak to them? Ooh, when you get and they've said, yeah, mommy, okay, I don't mind you speaking to them. After a while, start telling them your plan. If it's 10, tell them 8. Carry them along. And you find out but most of us want to impose it. African, that's what I'm doing. There was a child that stabbed the mom's husband or new partner. We shouldn't let it get out of that. We shouldn't let there be resentment. Don't throw the man on them or the woman, even if he's coming to live with you. And I say, don't bring the man to come and live in your house. Start sleeping in your house. No, let him come. Let him visit. Let him see them. Let him go away. If he comes, let them know he stays at the hotel. Go and see him. Come back. Build that rapport. He will come to the house. He will take them out. You go for cinema. Let him show that you respect them. They are the ones that will invite him that, okay, when is uncle coming? Very soon they will start telling you, okay, can we live together? Because they will now experience, but when he just looks like he's coming to take their independence away, they'll be like, who is this stranger? Same thing for the woman. If the woman is going, it's easier. But it's the same thing. If the man has children with him and the woman is going, you have to warm yourself. You are not their mother. You are not their mother. You are not their father. So you'll be lucky if a child is calling you daddy or mommy. To be honest with you, a pastor said to me recently, I told the woman I'm dating, and I said to her, I don't even want your children to call me dad because I'm not their daddy. These are 18, 17, 19 years old. Let them form their opinion. You find out that most of them will eventually call you daddy. I remember there was a man that was saying to me, when I get to that place, tell the woman, immediately I get there, you should tell the children that they're. And I started laughing. I said, it doesn't work like this, sir. No. Say, no, you should tell those children abroad. They are spoiled. Tell her to tell her children before I arrive that they should call me daddy. That is their daddy that is coming. And I'm like, you're going to wreck things. You're going to wreck things. It takes time. Warm yourself. These children will love you eventually, but remember they are skeptical. They don't know you. And their mind is formed. They knew their parents. If they call you auntie, you are auntie. If they call you uncle, you're uncle. If they call you, one lady said to me, she's in her 20s and her mother is in her late 50s. Her mom just married. She gave her stepdad nickname. They had a kind of relationship with them, they both agreed. The man is old enough to be her father. He's about 58 and wherever. They're old enough to be her father. But they realize, I can't impose myself. I'm your stepdad. He's a stepdad, but not a father. But he will adopt that role of being a father as time goes on. So please, let's be very, very careful. We always miss it because we're like, hey, your children are not respected. They're not calling me mommy. Are you their mommy? Don't you have your own children? If you don't have your own children, go and have your own children. You are not their mother and you are not their father. So warm yourself into them. Let them love you. Then you win that title of daddy. Before you know it in the house, they will change to dad. Because you start doing daddy things, by the time you come in, they'll warm up to you, they love you, they even want you to come and start living with them. And you take them out, give them things. Don't be selfish. Treat them like you treat your own children, but remember that they don't know you before. So let them warm themselves into your heart. So now, if we now go to this issue about what we are talking about, So if we talk about couples walking on eggshell and thus, then stop comparing your spouse to your previous one. These are major reasons why relationship doesn't work. So if we now want to talk about this marriage, our subject, naturally I do have a case scenario, but I talk holistically so that everybody in such situation or aiming to go into second marriages can see and think, okay, as it can be, we can identify with it. So consequences of a wrong decision. Look at this marriage, the scenario that we studied. I'll read it together. They were previously divorced and both of them wanted a second marriage. The man insisted on a child between them. A newborn baby was adopted. They adopted a child. People don't think. They adopted a child and they did huge celebration to welcome that baby. I was told they did massive naming ceremony. I was actually laughing when I heard. I'm like, naming ceremony. Didn't people know that you did? But time has changed. They adopted the child properly and they welcomed the child. So they got married after that, moved together, and now they are separated less than 2 years. So the man now that insisted he wanted a child does not want custody of a child. So those are things, both of them are in second marriage and over 50s. The woman now is a professional. She's so busy. She's saddled with the responsibility of taking care. Meanwhile, our previous child, I think her last born before then is around 17. So all the things that she's done with now, she started again. So now let's talk. Our question is it worth the while? Is it worth the while? Look at it. You see, why would you bring a child? If you want to go into second marriage and you have to go for, it's easy for any man or any woman to say, I want a child. Are you responsible enough to take care of that child? What have you put in place? What structure have you put in place to take care of a child? It's not easy to just say you want a child. It's not easy that we say we want a child. We have to understand that it takes love, not only money, to raise children, and it takes time. It takes effort. We don't want to give birth to vagabond. You see, we have enough trouble in the whole world as it is now. So look at it. These are things that you have to understand, that a child has to be loved conditionally. This child now, they are loving this child conditionally because it's a condition. The woman doesn't want a child. And now the marriage has not worked. So the man, you see, sometimes we have to understand that this comes from out of self. And you have to understand that not only two, it takes two to tangle in a marriage. When your own need, the sound of you only echoes in a marriage, you are heading for another issue, which is another divorce. You must sit down together. Sometimes it's not marriage, sometimes it's career, sometimes it's choice of where to live. But we're just talking about this. This is marriage, this is child. So look at this woman now. The man that insisted, if I were him, if he insisted so much about the child, he should have asked for the custody of that child. Now he doesn't want custody. So is it worth it? So if we want to go about it, the issues in this thing is the fact that I think I can't judge people. To have a child, you have to put structure in place. What is the structure? What is the structure that we have put in place for this child? What is this child going to live on? It's not easy. You can't just say, and I said to people, at 50, if you have a child at 56, now, that means in 10 years, that child will be 67. In 10, when the child is 10, you'll be 67. You're a pensioner already. What if your health fails you? What if death comes? God forbid. People don't think. We only think of our passion and our present circumstance. Then innocent child. Look at this innocent child now in the limbo. They brought in an innocent child now that doesn't know her fate. This woman is still taking care of the child, but she doesn't want a child. And let's be realistic, she didn't call for the child. She only went ahead to satisfy her man. Most of us women, we do that. We try to satisfy the man. Okay, whatever makes you happy. But think now, we should have a think. It's whatever makes us happy. If this is not going to make us happy, don't lose yourself for any woman or any man. And that's what we're talking about, second marriage PALAVA. Most of us, when we fall in love with somebody, love is so funny. When we love somebody, we want to do everything to please them. And I find that the woman takes advantage sometimes and the man takes advantage. One of the worst things that somebody just said recently is letting a man know that you love him so much. They take unnecessary advantage. And one of the things I say to men is lay the foundation you want to sleep on. Because at the stage when a woman loves and loves and loves, at the later part when she realizes that love, and at that time it may be too late, then the woman withdraws and changes. So there's nobody that's desperate to do anything than both of you. So if this man, which to be honest with you, when I had this story, it happened in Africa. One of the things I first said is, didn't he wanted a child? He should be the one. And it's Africa. It's easy childcare. They said no, because it's easy for him to dump his ass. I'm sorry, beg your pardon for that. Dump and clean up his ass and then go and get another woman in another third marriage and another child. So why call for a child? It goes to say that no child holds any marriage. It is love and commitment that holds a marriage. Now they wanted a child. Desperate, they both agreed they cannot. I think the woman, they agreed they couldn't have a child, so they adopted. So we have to think about these things. The first one, then everyone knows the child's story. Look at this innocent child now. Everybody knows the story. She's been adopted into the family. She can't be dumped. Child maintenance is not even thinking. We're not even at the stage of if it's, I don't know how they are doing it in Africa, but if it's over here, you're going to pay so much for child maintenance. So if you have to, it's good. I don't have any problem if both of you, but there has to be a lifetime commitment to that child. Please, a lifetime commitment. If you're going to make that decision, I don't know what you're going to put in place. Because imagine somebody that's been done with childcare for the past 17 years. Now you put her life on hold for another 10, 12 years. And that's what the man has done. And most of us, I always say to women, when they come to that, say, okay, fair enough, he wants a child. If you're age-bearing children, by all means, children is very good. If you're still in your early 40s or late 30s, second marriage, please go for it as soon as possible. But think about one thing. If you're in your late 50s or early 50s or late 40s, be careful about it because of your health. Because what if you're unable? I know a woman, she's passed on now, may her soul rest in peace, some couple of years ago. It was because of this, and she had bad what's it called, blood pressure and everything. My mom and myself and my mom used to buy things from her in those days. Very pretty woman. She married this man too, and the man put her under pressure. And despite doctors' warning, she was reassured that she's going to carry to full term. I think during delivery she passed her. She couldn't. She died. Look at it. This woman was a very industrious woman. We used to buy lace and a couple of things from her. If you go to her house, a whole room where she comes, her cargo, her laces, everything fused there. She was doing well for herself. But because she wanted to please the man. So one of the things you should think about, both sides, this is not for the woman as not for the man. It's for every one of you. Think about one thing. I always say to women, just sit back and say, as I'm going into it, what if this marriage doesn't work out? Yes, it's possible. We're not praying for that. But whatever made you to be divorced in the first instance, if care is not taken, you can still be divorced. If you have not worked on yourself, die too. There's a lot of things that I found out that a lot of women and men needs to work on. Especially some of us that are divorcees, you need to work on yourself. Yeah, you may say your wife is not good or your husband is not good, but you have added some things, some attitude, some manners that are wrong. Some of us need to go to school of marriage again. Okay, now let's assume. And remember, now you're in your own world. You've had years of freedom. You are less tolerant. So we've discussed all those things. I don't want to repeat myself, but think about what if it doesn't. So as you want to have that child, think about it. This child I want to have at 52, that's for the woman, or at 48 or 45 as the woman. What if this man turns around tomorrow and say, I'm done with, I don't want you again? Would you be able to take care of that child? Don't go for it if you know you don't have the capacity to take care of that child. It sounds easy and it sounds selfish. Sometimes life gets selfish because the person that wants a child is for their own selfish need. So you don't have to be selfish, but you have to be very considerate. It's good for child like this now. I just said to the woman, there's nothing I said to the person that told me, it's done, is done. There's nothing we can do. She ought to have thought, when they were telling me the story, I just sat and I'm like, did she ever think, because she's a professional that travels all over. Her work takes her everywhere. She doesn't have time. But the man reassured her that it's going to be the one at home and will be taking care. Now she's settled. Now she had to travel. She had to put the child and a minder at a friend's. And she's thinking, so what's going to be the future of that child? How many, at the end of the day, very soon, they're going to put the child in a boarding school at a younger age. So the child is not going to have love. So we brought a child to the world just for our own selfish reason. Children are not children. They are heritage of the Lord. They are valuable. They are not something. They are not a tool. That's it. They are not a tool for our happiness. They are pleasant. They are fruit of it. They are reward, and they are arrows in the hand of the mighty one. At the old age, when you want to go, they are not something you hold on to and you use to manipulate. And some women use children to manipulate. They use the children against their husband. They use the children against their wives. So please, let's be very careful. So that's not going into this as I'm rounding up. If anybody has any comments, because I'm going to round up in like 5 minutes. Don't let's use children as a weapon. Don't let's use them as a tool. They are the heritage. They are a blessing of the home. So if God has given you children in the first marriage and you have children in the second marriage, one here, one there, please take care of these children. Have they gone to university? Have you paid tuition fee for the university? What have you? It's no longer. It's to raise children nowadays. It's very, very important that we raise children with love, out of love, not as a weapon for our own happiness. Okay, or you want to use it to prove a point. Let's not do that. But both of you sit down and say, okay, you're still of the childbearing age. I want a child. Okay, I too want a child. The other one says, I don't want a child. Why don't you want a child? Don't be selfish. Some women are selfish. They just don't want children, to be honest with you. They just don't want to. No, you're still like 30 or 40. You can have a child. If she has a medical condition, okay, maybe talk about adoption. Talk about adoption. There are several areas and means of people having children nowadays. You can talk about it. It's okay. If you cannot carry the child, other people can do that. But what you have to put in place, I always say to people, is not that 9 months business. It's the next 18 years business that matters. What structure do you have in place? How responsible have you demonstrated that you can be a mother? How responsible have you demonstrated that anybody can? I always say to people, it takes a drop of a sperm for you to have a child. How responsible are you as it is? What responsibility have you shown that you're ready and willing to be a father? Not that they just say you're daddy or so that you're gone again. Or you're freelancing about, you don't have time. To have a child, you must be there to take care of that child. So these are things that I think is wrong in that story. Look at it. It's so disheartening. When I heard it, it was something that I wouldn't have discussed. But the woman really just wanted, not that she wanted to know. She's just asking, is it worth it? Like somebody just thinking back and just thinking, why was I stupid? And I was just like, did the guy not show responsibility? But from the little things, it's been like, I felt there was a lot of things that she didn't pick. And that's why I said nowadays, sometimes I think time tells whether you want a full commitment to that relationship. So I feel this woman, any one of us can fall into this kind of issue. And the reason why I'm saying it, and that's why we talked about the second marriage PALAVA. Part 2, these are palavas, these are issues, troubles that can come out of second marriages. So let's not be madly in love. Let our love not be blind. Let's love with our hearts. Let our brain be working. Think about it. She wants a child. He wants a child. What structure? What if? There's always that what if. He wakes up tomorrow and says, I don't want this relationship again. That means you're going to be saddled with taking care of that child. When you are 67, you're going to be using your pension money. Can you imagine having a child at 57? It's not worth it. Think, let's think. Let's stop being selfish. We can love each other, and if it doesn't work, everybody will go their way. But once there's a child, there's headache, there's child maintenance, there are issues to take care of. The Lord will help us so much. It will help us as we want to go into. It's good. Don't get me wrong, but put things in place. Put this in place for if we were to be people like places like Africa, even these people that are in Africa. Well, and I said to my friend, I said maybe she should just get a good nanny and put her at home and taking care of that child. I said, in this present Nigeria, I said, what's it called it? She said, kidnappers, they will kidnap the child. And that it's the house help that will set you up. And they will, so to take care of a child now, you need to be present in that child's life. You can't be a runaway daddy or away daddy and you want a child. Neither can be a away mommy and you want a child. It takes responsibility. So when we are going into this second marriage that's around us, let us go into it with love. Love each other first, settle into it, know what we want, respect each other, then start deciding. If you decide during courtship, that's what courtship should be all about. Talk about it. If you're insisting, okay, what are the structure? How are we? Don't be shy to say it. How are we going to take care of this child? What do we have in place? Say it. What structure? Who is going to take care of this child? I have my profession. You have your profession. You're not ready to give up your profession. I'm not ready to give up mine. It's a baggage I've built. It's a career I've built, a portfolio I've built over years. This is a second marriage, you have to understand. It's not a first marriage. Yeah, the first marriage, there's the thing that you want a child. Yes, because even if you don't want, people say you're barren. But you all have yours. He has one, he has two, you have two, you have three. You're coming together. And then to take care of those children. When I always say, this one has two, that one say, I say, that's 4 children. There's nothing like my child, your child. They become our children, even if they're not staying with us. And that's one of the things that we don't talk about as you just say, yeah, we're married. So your own children are still, okay, let's assume I want to marry and have 1 child or 2. My own children are mine. His are his. So he will take care, then go for companionship. Just don't even think of marriage. If it's, his is his. Mine is mine. That's not marriage. When you marry, the children become yours, even if they're not living under the same roof. You both take the responsibility for those children, their uni, their upkeep, their marriage, and there are things like if they're getting married, they don't want to see you there. Those are complications. But let me tell you something, you don't want to see you there, don't go. In fact, if I were anybody and the mother says they don't want, I will not even wait until on that day I will leave the house for them, I will travel. They are not your children. You have to accept these facts. Let's be very, very factual. They may not take you except their father is dead or their mother is dead. Yes, if you marry a widow or widower, we understand. If you marry a widow, you're automatically the children's father. They don't have any father anyway. But if their mom is divorced and they have a father somewhere, they can never use you to replace their father. So don't go there to replace their father. Just go there to be their stepdad, the husband or spouse of their mother, and a stepfather for them, or uncle that loves them. And I think that is it. So please, I feel this woman, she hasn't done anything wrong, but it's quite unfortunate. But one of the things we said is you cannot give up this child. You cannot. She's adopted the child, and it's annoying, and it's painful because she mustn't give up that child. The child must be taken care of in love. And that I think that's the end of it. That's all I want to say tonight. I really appreciate everyone. You see, this is a case that every one of us, especially that's planning to go into second marriages, that things we have to consider. Sit back, put your priorities down, your career, your baggages. We must be able to compromise as well. You can't say these are my baggages, I'm not having a child. If you are not having a child, if it's medical and you can still take care of the child, yes, the child will bind you together. Take care, put things in place. Not the child. Let him put it. The person that wants the child should put things in place. Okay, this is the structure. Are we going to get a childminder? Are we get a nanny? You must be paying for it. You want a child. Put that in place. school that the children will go, my work, your work, you have to, that's why compromise matters. We'll move here, but in the course of it, we must not lose ourselves. And we have to understand that, God forbid, if it doesn't work out, what would we do? Are we going to lose ourselves in it? Are we going to be crying about and we'll be regretting? At this stage, we mustn't do anything that we regret. Yeah, God forbid, if it doesn't work out, it's painful, it's heart-wrecking, you don't like it, it's a bad story. But at the same time, you should be able to pick the piece and piece of your life, and life goes on. Life throws you a lemon and you turn it into a lemonade. But if it's now that you're now depressed, and that some people, children, women will even do something bad for that child, because they're now, remember now, the child is even adopted. So I don't want hatred. So let's think deeply before we take any action. The God of peace will grant us peace. I pray for as many of us that wants to take decision like this, that the Lord will guide us right. That the Lord would guide us right in the mighty name of Jesus. That we'll do it well. And the name of the Lord will be glorified. We ought to be happy. We ought to be at peace. But identify, search your heart. Do I really want this? If you love him enough, make commitment. If you love her enough, make commitment, but don't make selfish commitments. Don't make commitment that if it doesn't work and you're like, and when I'm quick to say that's our own problem, it's not our own problem, it's your problem. And we must be responsible. We must not just father children that we will not take care of. The Lord will help us, the Lord will guide us, and will be our God. Please share this with anyone that you know will bless. A lot of people are suffering in second marriages. But let me tell you something, it's doable, it's workable. Your second marriage can work. It can work. Think of it before going into it and make every effort to make it work. Your commitment is what makes the marriage work. It's not the love, the words that you say, it's the commitment, the time you put into it. You have to be patient, you have to be loving. Remember, it's coming from a past, she's coming from a past. They both have past. So try, but don't lose yourself. That's all I'll say. The Lord bless you. Have a wonderful night. Merry Christmas, because by the time I come back your way, it will be happy Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Mommy Ajoke, bless you. Mommy Clara James, bless you. Mommy Amma Shamaiko, the Lord bless you. Merry Christmas. Enjoy your Christmas. Eat for me, I'll eat for you as well. By the grace of God, we'll see next Wednesday. The Lord bless us and keep us. And as many of us that we need prayers, and that the hand of the Lord no marriage is perfect. That the Lord will heal our home, He will heal our land, He will stretch forth His hand of peace upon our home and our situations in the mighty name of Jesus. Until the next time I come your way, I remain your sister, your friend. You like my outfit? God bless you, ma. Your sister, your friend, your pastor, Pastor D. The Lord bless you. Love you all. I appreciate everyone. Bless you all. Have a wonderful night. Merry Christmas. Amen. More grace. Amen. And Lord bless you. See you all next week. God bless you.